Hey everyone, it's me, Arthur Kade. I got a man who is responsible for, I think, half of America's population, because so many of your songs, Keith Sweat, have just, you've defined R&B on so many levels, man. It's crazy. And now you're back, you've got a new album, you've got a new single. You having fun still? What's going on?
Definitely. Yeah, it's fun being back with a new album and all those type of things, so it's a great time for me.
You've been around since the 80s. When you look at R&B, how has it changed? I mean, you look at what you guys were doing back then to what's happening now. It's significantly different, I think, right?
I mean, R&B is more, it was more R&B for real back in the day, but now it's a little more pop orientated. R&B is not what R&B used to be. The lyrics are not as intense, and the music is a little different, you know. So it seems like everybody's doing the same thing. It's not, it's hard to distinguish who's doing what because of the fact that everybody's trying to do the same thing nowadays. Where back in the day, where you know everybody wanted their own identity, everyone tried to do their own thing and wanted to do their own thing so they could be in their own space.
What do you think it is? Like, what do you think? Is it a lack of originality? Is it people suck these days? Like, what is it?
I think it's you got the same producer producing for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Normally, you know, back in the day, you had Quincy Jones who knew how to change up. You know, he looked at the artist and wrote specifically for that artist. And because he wrote one song for somebody else, he didn't go and try to do the same melodic and the same music for the next artist he was producing. So it has a lot to do with the producers nowadays. You know, when you have certain producers who can only do one type of thing, you know, so they write and produce for everybody, so they give everybody the same thing. And I think that's pretty much what it is.
You've sold over 25 million albums, man. You've had the amount of records, hits, it's insane.
Right.
How do you continue to make music? How do you stay relevant?
Well, you know, relevancy is being able to give people what they want. When people go buy a Keith Sweat record, they basically want Keith Sweat. So
they're making babies.
Right, you know, CDs, you know. So basically what I try to do is give them, you know, the Keith Sweat that they either grew up listening to or the Keith Sweat that they love. So I try to keep it very similar to, you know, the songs that I've done before or the songs that I'm doing now.
When you look around at your peer group, there's so many people who were big back then who are not even relevant anymore.
Right.
How do you know, obviously the music is one part of it, but it's also mental, it's also spiritual, it's also about just being able to kind of stay in the business. How were you able to stay in the business?
Well, staying in the business for me is like I said, knowing your niche, knowing who you are, being able to identify with who you are, and you know, knowing that it doesn't matter whether someone else is doing this type of music or someone else over here is doing this type of music over this, knowing what your lane is. A lot of people don't know what their lane is. You know, I stay true to my lane. I know that if I go left, that, you know, I might not, the same people that love Keith Sweat might not love Keith Sweat no more, or they might not like the type of music that I'm doing if I go left. So I try to, you know, it's like staying safe. I like to play safe. I don't like to take a lot of gambles because, you know, if it's not broke, don't fix it, you know.
We just lost one of the greatest artists of all time with Prince. Now Shaka Khan is in rehab. There's a problem with drugs in the music business. What are your thoughts on what's going on right now? And is this a rampant thing? Was it a rampant thing during the 80s and 90s when you were at the height of the popularity you were dealing with?
Well, you know, I mean, I've never taken drugs, so you know, for me, I don't need it to write, I don't need it to perform, I don't need it for any of those reasons. I mean, you know, I knew how to say no. Everybody doesn't know how to say no. I mean, some people feel that they need it for whatever their reasons might be. I never think, you know, it's a reason to take drugs for no reason at all. I mean, I got a natural, I always believe in that natural high thing, you know what I'm saying? I like being in control of myself. I like, you know, knowing where I'm at all times, and I don't need anything to make me feel I'm feeling great if I'm not feeling great, because you'll start to be very dependent on whatever's making you feel good or whatever you think is making you feel good. So for me, I don't need it. And I think it's sad when people have to take certain things to make them feel good because there's something obviously wrong in their life if they feel like they want to get away or have to get away.
Is there pressure? So when you're coming off, you had 6 albums that in a row that went platinum.
Right.
Is there pressure when you have that kind of success to continue having that type of success? Or do you settle into a niche where you're like, I've been successful, no matter what happens from this point forward, I'm cool? Or is there the pressure where it's like, I've got to keep winning championships, I've got to keep bringing this thing home?
For me, I don't feel that pressure. I think I used to feel it. But once you realize that there were people before me that had that same pressure, I mean, I think we all have that pressure, whether you're athlete or you're R&B artist or you're actor, you know what I'm saying? We all have those pressures. I don't think there's no one out there that doesn't have that pressure. And once you realize you're not the only one that's going through that, you can kind of put it all into perspective and say, hey, you know, I've had my time. You know, it's time for someone else to shine, you know? So as long as you can understand that and put all those things that this is how life is and understand what life is all about and put all those type of things in perspective, you'll be all right.
When you look at today's artists, who do you like? Like, who are some of the people you look at and you're like, these are original talents right here. Like, I see it with them.
Neil is original talent. I like Chris because I think, you know, regardless of what, he's a very talented young man. He can dance, he can sing. I mean, his vocal ability is phenomenal. I like Adele. You know, there's a lot of people that I do like, who I think are very, very, very talented artists and very, very talented.
Your voice, I mean, I grew up to your voice. Your voice is so different. When did you realize that your voice was kind of this weapon you could use, for lack of a better word? Because you got that different sound. It's that like, it's like, it's great. I mean, that's the worst impression ever, but you know what I mean.
I know what you mean, but I mean, that just put me in a different category. I mean, it made it, well, when you hear me sing, you know that's Keith Sweat. You're not getting it confused with that's this person or that person, which is a good thing for me because I found my own niche. I mean, I grew up listening to people like Steve Arrington, which is Slave, a lot of the Levert, OJs, people like that, and you know. But the funny part about it is, you know, I grew up in the funk era. You know, as a kid,
George Clinton.
I used to listen. So you know, back in the day, you know, you can sound one way on one song and sound totally different on another song because it's about character. It's like an actor playing a part. You know, one minute he can be a gangster, and the next minute he can be a nice guy. So musically, I can make my voice sound any kind of way or fit any type of track that I wanted to fit. It all depends on what the track is.
You got to have some great stories, man. When you look at some moments throughout career, throughout life, what are one or two that just like stick out to you? Like moments where you're like, I'll never forget this happened.
Well, you know, the first time I went on stage and after doing my first album, I had a bunch of screaming fans.
Underwear thrown, I'm sure.
All that, but you know, that was I remember the first show I ever did. It was so phenomenal. It was like my dream had come true. It was the best thing that had ever happened to me. You know, where I'm on stage and performing, it was like, man, I only dreamt this was possible. I never thought I would actually be on stage performing and enjoying the success of a hit album. So, you know, that, I think I look back at that time.
Do you ever get any great stories, because your music is love music, do you ever get any great stories about like, hey Keith, I was joking around about the baby making, but babies were made to your music. Do you ever get any like, hey, I made it conceived to you?
I hear that all the time. Going through the mall, I hear basically like, hey man, hey, if my mother was here, she'd go crazy, or oh, my sister loves you, my man. Oh, you don't understand, or like I wish my man could sing like you. You know what I'm saying, or things like that. Or I wish you were my man. Oh my God, your songs are so incredible. So I hear all kinds of stories.
When you look at your career, what do you want people to remember? What's the legacy you want?
the great music, the great love songs, the songs that made people fall in love. And you know, I'm the guy that made people fall in love and want to get married, and or fall in love and want to have sex, or fall in love and want to have a baby. I'm that guy, you know. So that's my legacy. That, you know, I wrote the greatest or the best love songs of all times.
Was it when you're writing these songs? Was it coming from your own personal life? What was the process of bringing this all out?
Well, a lot of times, you know, some songs, you know, were just me going in the right. Some songs was going through changes in a relationship, and I might have felt, you know, the urgency or the urge to write those type of songs. So a lot of times, sometimes, well, not a lot of times, but, you know, for a lot of the records that I had, or the songs that I've written, or the music that I've written, I should say some of that actually came from life experiences. So songs that are like "I Give All My Love to You" and "Make It Last Forever," and those type of songs are more natural songs for me to have written, because of maybe I was going through a situation or was in a relationship at that point.
Wonder if I can do "Make It Last Forever." You want to hear me try it?
No, try it.
Oh my God. All right, folks, here we go.
Here we go.
I'm going to get Keith, it's going to be like American Idol. Keith Sweat's American Idol. I'm going to try to do it like in your voice, though. So this is not obviously, don't take this in any way personally. Like Keith Sweat's all of a sudden like pummeling me.
Nah, that's not going to happen.
Like, you idiot. Make it last forever.
Oh, no. Stop right there.
Oh my God.
Stop right there.
Are you able to do it?
Stop right there.
Do you have to warm up your voice? Or are you able to?
It's early in the morning.
Oh my God, I used to like be able to crack it a little bit. That was awful.
Oh my God.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Don't do that. That's not even karaoke fit.
The record label just called and they're
That's
like
not-
suing me.
That's not even karaoke fit. Come on, man.
That's all. I swear to God, I used to be able to somewhat carry a tune with that at one moment. God, I'm so embarrassed, but whatever.
But you'll be all right.
I'm not. I'll make babies other ways. Whatever.
I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you.
How is your music now different from what it was early in your career?
Well, you know, it's 2016. Keith Sweat is not, you know, it's not a lot different. It's still the love songs. It's still the great melodies, I hope. It's still the great lyrics, I hope. You know, I still go in the studio and try to put it down the way I think people want me to put it down. So the only thing that has changed about it is I'm just older, and, you know, my voice probably has matured a little bit. That's about it. It's not really different in terms of what I'm speaking about or singing about. It's pretty much the same thing.
You're awesome, man. Everybody make sure to check out Keith's new album, new single. It was #1 on the charts. Congratulations,
Thank you
man.
so much.
The OG is still holding it down.
Holding it down, babe.
Let's all pretend I did a good job singing Make It Last Forever. You're the man, dude.
Thank you, man.
Congratulations on
All right,
everything.
appreciate it.